Okay, so today is Saturday, December 7th, as you see there. It is 10:29 p.m. Here is the diaphragm for human, the human cell. So we have the different phases of meiosis. Phase 1, which is here, it begins or consists of the chromosome pairs. As you can see here, you have the sarcomeres and the chromatids. Um, they begin to pair with the homogeneous partners. This process is helped along by these little things within here, which is the centrosomes. Um, you have the nucleus envelope here. As the process continues, the nucleus envelope disappears. The triads, which are those, they line up in the middle, and you'll start seeing the spindle fibers attached to the sarcomeres, and they begin to pull each chromosomes to the opposite sides of the pole, which is anaphase. Telophase, the chromosomes, once they are on the opposite sides, the cell begins cytosis. And as you can see here, it's starting to split apart. Prophase is the spindle fibers form and begin to move the chromosomes to opposite sides towards the middle of the dividing cell. Metaphase, the chromosomes move to the middle of the dividing cell, facing opposite sides. So it starts to face the opposite sides as it's pulled toward the midline of the cell. Facing opposite poles of the cells. Then you have anaphase. The chromatins separate and move towards the opposite poles of the cells. Next, you have telophase. The nucleus membrane forms around the chromosomes, and then they make 4 new cells. Okay. I have to turn this way. So first you have the egg cell, which is the ovum. It has 23 chromosomes. This is in the female. These are the sperm, which come from the male during the egg. The egg is here. Whichever sperm makes it to the ovum first, it breaks off and it goes inside of there. It penetrates. The fertilization helps when the sperm is in competition, so they're competing with each other. The first one to get in the egg cell or the ovum is the one that will fertilize it. It also has 23 pairs, just like the ovum, which is in the female. It penetrates the oxocyte, and completes mitosis too. The sperm and the ovum nuclei begin swelling of forming a proclear. Next, the DNA in each proclear replicates mitosis, and the spindle fibers begin between them. Fertilization is complete at this point. The cell is now called a zygote. 36 hours after fertilization, the zygote produces an identical cell called a blastocyte. They divide to provide 4 cells, and then they continue going on and on and on. 72 hours later, you have what they call a berry-shaped cluster. They also call it a little mulberry. The embryo continues to be transported toward the uterus around day 4, day 5. The embryo, consists of, it begins to accumulate fluid within the internal cavity and floats into the uterus. So it'll be floating in the uterus. The zona pellicular, it starts to break down in the inner structure and begins blastocytes. Then the inner cell mass consists of 2 trophoblasts. Then the inner cell mass consists of the trypoblast cells, and cell clusters become the embryonic disc. Day 6 and 7. Inflammation. Gosh, that word is so hard to say. It is implanted, as you can see here. It's implanted to the uterus wall, and from here it continues to grow. If the female is unable, or something happens, and it doesn't attach to the uterus wall like it's supposed to, then her menstruation starts. If it doesn't start within the 26 days after ovulation, then she proceeds to carry the term baby at this point in time. I just want to take a closer look into this, as these are the fallopian tubes. So as the days progress, the fertilized egg or the ovum keeps going through here. Now, sometimes some people, they have miscarriages, or they become pregnant only to find out weeks or whatever later that it's in their fallopian tube, and they will have to have a surgical procedure to get rid of it, because it is very dangerous in this area. And that concludes my description of fertilization, embryonic early stages.